I like the way my heartbeat quickens when I open the door and you're there. And I've discovered the secret of happiness is not to run too fast. You can still beat them by coming in last, 'cause the secret of happiness is I've discovered the secret of happiness is a very quiet thing.
So it's classic that I wrote a show about three women, and the title is Men, Things That Go Bump in the Night, because there are no men in it. It's just me. Come see Men, Things That Go Bump in the Night, a show with three women and no men. This is a show about three women entitled Men, Things That Go Bump in the Night. Classic. Hi, y'all. I better see you coming to see Men, Things That Go Bump in the Night, or else I'm going to talk to your mama, and you don't want me to do that. I want people to walk away from this show feeling like they've had a really good time, like they've just been on a ride at a theme park, and they've just enjoyed, an hour of life, and it's taken them away from all the stuff that's going on. And when I auditioned for Good Theater, I auditioned for a straight play. Brian asked me to do the Broadway at Good Theater Christmas fundraiser, and I've done 4 of those. And I was just in Lucky Stiff last spring, and after that, Brian approached me to do a one-woman show, and here we are.
That's great.
My favorite song to sing in the show is Mr. Right from Love Life, and it's super upbeat, and it has this great swing, and it's just really fun, and it's definitely a showstopper and an audience pleaser. One of the delights was having the audience as my scene partner. That was really fun. Having the audience as my scene partner is an absolute delight. Was that too cute? Preparing for this show was scary and difficult because there was no one to work with or play off of. All of the work was done individually until I worked with Vicky. Hazel is a little bit more accessible as a character, and she's a little bit younger and a little bit more spunky. Mitzi Klopsky is from Maine, and she's totally over men. And that's all I'm going to say about Mitzi Klopsky.
Awesome.
Georgia Sky is from the South, and she just wants to get married, and that doesn't mean she hasn't had any fun, but she just wants to get married and settle down. Good Theater has allowed me to represent women who look like me and sound like me in a light that isn't usually represented. So Hazel can be quiet and scared and shy and also sing, a high C. And I don't have to just play characters. I can, be myself, or I can be Annabelle Glick, who's like a little weird and like doesn't like to be touched. And I can bring things to a character that I wouldn't have been able to do, where I wouldn't have been able to bring to those characters if I was just shushed out of the room because I just didn't look the way they wanted me to look. So I want people to walk away from this show feeling like they've had a really good time. Like we've all gone on a roller coaster together at a theme park, and you kind of get off and you're like a little jittery and like a little excited. And I want them to be able to recognize the women on stage. They either know Mitzi, or they know, or they are Hazel, or they're like, well, I definitely know a Georgia, or I see Georgia on the Food Network every week, or I want them to just see people that they know and see someone representing humans and women in a different form, and continue to have the conversation of men versus women versus assigned men versus assigned women versus what that all means, and let the conversation go. Let it just splash. So my 3 characters are named Georgia Skye, Mitzi Klopsky, and Hazel McNamara, and they're all very different. Georgia Skye is from the South, and she's very much like Blanche from Golden Girls, and she's very specific about what she likes, and she just wants to get married. Like, she has spent her life traveling, and she has many degrees, and she just wants to find a man. And then Mitzi is over men completely. Completely, like to the point of completely. And then Hazel is a lot more like me in a sense, where she just wants to normalize relationships, and she we come into her apartment when she's cooking dinner for a date. It's like their 3rd or 4th date. So she's like he's coming over and she's cooking dinner. So it's all this like, how do I do this? What do I wear? How do I function? How do I not be a total and like, how do I So it's like all onomatopoeia, basically. Just how do I So that's her. She's very funky and spunky and fun. Yeah. Designing the show around characters that I built was probably the most freeing thing I've ever experienced in theater. I didn't feel like I had to be anyone else. I didn't have to be a certain type or height or dress size or color or person. I didn't have to be an extrovert. I didn't have to be an introvert. I could create these characters as they were through integrity, instead of trying to fit who I was into someone else's vision. So I'm really passionate about roles that can be played by anyone. I feel like this, if someone wanted to take this show, if a man wanted to take this show, if anyone of any gender wanted to take this show, or color could take this show, anyone of any ability could take these characters and play them however they wanted to play them, because that's really important, that we pull ourselves out of this idea of, well, it was played one way and then we just keep the mold going. We just, like I always talk about Belle. I know it's so Disney princess, but I talk about how she was a cartoon, so we just keep molding her after this one look, and we don't allow other people to represent who Belle might be. And I think we're all marginalized some way, somehow. Some people are more marginalized than others, especially in casting, in theater. I'm lucky I'm able-bodied. I have sight. I have my hearing. I have all of those things that people who don't have those things are marginalized for. You know, if you if you don't have a voice and you still want to tell stories and do theater, how do you do that? Do you walk into a room? How do you audition if you do that? So they have to go through all of these different marginalizations. I've just been marginalized because of my weight. So I've been sent out of audition rooms simply because I'm not the right dress size. There was just a recent posting they needed models, and they put a dress size, and it's so frustrating because I understand if it's like for a specific person, but cosmetically, does it tell the story? Do you have to tell the story cosmetically?